Good afternoon, guys. So we started OSGi. So this is the third session actually. In the first session, we discussed about OSGi introduction. Okay, OSGi introduction is the first part we done. After that, we done with OSGi component and service. OSGi component and service. Component and OSGi service. So these are the things. That is the part number 2. We'll end. Are you guys clear with my point? OSGi introduction is the part number 1, and in the part number 2, we discussed about the OSGi component and service. So generally, the purpose of OSGi component service is so they can listen the service life cycle events. Those are like activate, deactivate, modify. Okay, and we have one more advantage with OSGi component service. The advantage is we can read the dynamic values. Advantage with the, I would say, OSGi component services, we can read the dynamic values. We can read the dynamic values. Cherry support. Top. Once again, maybe network issue. Okay, fine. What is the advantage with OSGi component and service? We can read the data from the dynamically. We can read. We can read the data dynamically. We can read the data dynamically. So that dynamical reading data is called OSGi configuration. Are you guys clear with my point? OSGi configuration. OSGi configuration. So what is the purpose of OSGi configuration? Meaning we can read the data from the dynamically. So how we can read the data from the dynamically? I will show you practical also. Then you can, you can get the clarity on it. Normally, OSGi component and services are nothing but normal Java classes only, right? For example, if I would like to take the class and some class name I am taking, the class name is the demo, and from here to here, this is the scope of the class. Now, what I will do, okay, now what I will do, so like generally in core Java, what we did generally, if you want to take the instance variable, how we will take the instance variables? So always instance variable, we can write recommended with access specifier as the private. Okay, private access specifier, and here I would like to take the data type is the string and username equal to, for example, I am mentioning Raju. Okay, username is the Raju, and similarly private next int user id I am mentioning some 100. Okay, user id is the I am mentioning some 100. Similarly, if I want to mention user secret, like I can mention user secret. Here I am mentioning some secret, so like some number I am providing. Okay, and similarly I can take private string some user REST API. I'm taking user REST API. Now you guys observe what I'm doing here. So the values I am here in the code base level only I'm passing the values, right? In the code level, like for example here I am mentioning some URL like search.com, like that I am passing, within the double quotation, now this is the instance variables. I am passing the values. So Raju is the value. I am passing the Raju value user variable. Okay, are you guys clear with my point? But if I go with this approach, this is hard coding completely. This is hard coding. Okay, for example, if the client will tell uh, a client will tell like instead of Raju you can change with Rani. So at the time what the developer will do, again the developer will come to the code base and he will change from Raju to Rani, and they need to raise the PR, again they need to deploy the dev environment, again they need to deploy testing environment like this, right? If it is a small change also, they has to deploy multiple environments. That is the very drawback, right? Actually, so that is the very disadvantage, meaning it will take lot of time, and the code also it will, I would say, it will take lot of time, and this is the hard coding. So in the real time scenarios, hard coding is not at all recommended. Hard coding is not at all recommended. What are the disadvantages we have generally based on the above code, based on the above code, based on the above code? So we are initializing instance variables. We are initializing instance variables, hard coding. Instance variables. We are initializing instance variables, meaning that is called hard coding. That is called hard coding. That is called hard coding. Okay, and and so this approach, it will take a lot of time. It will take lot of time. It will take lot of time. It will take lot of time. Okay, so how to overcome those drawbacks generally? So that is the reason Adobe team has introduced the topic, that is the OSGi configurations. OSGi configurations. So normally you can write the program and the values you can pass dynamically. Whatever the values you want, you can pass the values dynamically. So that is the very big advantage with the OSGi configurations. That is the very big advantage with the OSGi configurations. Are you guys clear with my point? This is the drawbacks actually. How to overcome the hard coding is not at all recommended, right? So instead of doing the hard coding, we need to pass the values dynamically. Okay, we need to pass the dynamic values dynamically. Okay, so I will write the program and then I will show you. So in the part 3, the main purpose of part 3, meaning OSGi configurations, is we can give the values dynamically, and then that values you can initialize with instance variables, that I will show you programmatically. So as of now, I will take the class name as the user details, like that I will take, and you know already code base, and in that code base you can go with service package. Okay, so in my case, I am taking the class name is user details. Class name is user details. User details. Okay, this is the normal Java class. Normal Java class, I am converting it to the OSGi component. OSGi component. Okay, done. Next, this OSGi component I am converting it to the service. Service equal to, you should mention the class name user details. User and details. You should mention user details. User details. Okay, fine. Next, you can mention attributes. Those are like user details dot class, and then immediate equal to true, enable equal to true. you should mention enabled equal to true and immediate equal to true. These are the attributes you should pass. So this is the basic skeleton. Okay. Okay, fine. Now this is the service, right? Now for tracking the service methods, I'm using the logger tool. So logger tool is the one real-time tool. So I am using the logger tool. Private static final. I will increase the size of the file. Okay. And logger is the tool. The tool is coming from SLF4J tool only. So how to import SLF4J tool only? Why? Because AIM is sync with this one only. Apart from that, if you try to import any other package, it won't work in case of AEM. So you have to import org.slf4j only. Okay, fine. I'm selecting that one, and here again I am taking one constant variable and logger factory this is the get logger is the static method, so that is the reason I'm accessing by using the class name slf4j logger factory. Slf4j first one only dot get logger. Okay, you can select that one, and here you should give the class name. My class name is actually user details is the my class name. User, I can say details dot class, and you can end the statement with semicolon. End the statement semicolon. Okay, this is clear. This is the logger tool. This is the syntax for creating the logger. This is the syntax for creating the logger. Okay, so after that, so I will take three methods for activating the service, that is the activate method, and similarly I can take with deactivate modified. Three methods I will take. So this method I can annotate, I can define with @activate annotation, @activate annotation. Okay, fine. So similarly I can take three methods: public void deactivate, and from here to here this is the scope of the deactivate method, and this method I can annotate with deactivate annotation. Okay, next similarly I can take with third method, that is the modified method, and from here to here this is the scope of the modified, and this method I can annotate with modified, @modified. Okay, fine. Now this is, already in the last session we learned about activate, deactivate and modify. Okay, so generally here the same message I will take, like log file and log.info. So this is okay. The thing actually what we are doing currently is normally instance variables. How will you declare the instance variables? Private, and the next if it has the data type, you can mention with the data type and username. Okay, username equal to some Raju. So this is hard coding, right? For example, if I would like to take the username private, next int user ID. Okay, user IDs, for example, if I mention some 300, and similarly private string user secret. Okay, I would like to mention um, some number I am mentioning. Okay, and similarly private string user API. I am mentioning some user API. Okay, fine. So here also I will mention some URL. I will mention www dot some surge.com, like that. I am mentioning some URL surge.com. So generally, you guys observe this is the hard coding, right? Hard coding is not at all recommended. If the client will tell, for example, you can change replace with some 300 to 200, then again you should raise the PR and you have to follow the same process. So this is not at all recommended. Okay, so instead of that one, what we will do generally, we will take the we will pass the variables dynamically. This is the hard coding, right? So this approach, we won't go with this approach. We will go with OSGi dynamic configurations. OSGi dynamic configurations. So how we will pass the OSGi configurations generally? So for that purpose, you can take one more class, open new Java class, and you can select annotations. You can select annotations and you can give the class name as user details configurations. Configurations. This is the class name I am giving, configurations. Okay. Now the thing is annotations. What are the annotations generally we have? R7 annotations. R7 annotations. Uh, we have the @component, @component, and next we have @activate, @activate, and next we have @deactivate, and next we have @modified, and next we have object class definition, object class, object class definition, and next we have attribute definition, attribute definition, and next we have reference, reference, and next we have designate, designate. These are the annotations generally we have, right? And one more thing you can remember, these annotations you should use in case of OSGi component and service only. Okay, don't use out of the OSGi component and service. These annotations we will use always in case of OSGi service and configurations only. Okay, okay, fine. Now, yesterday we learned about the component activate, deactivate, and modify. That is good. And today, hmm, reference also we learn about the yesterday session. Today we'll learn about object class definition and attribute definition and designate. Designate. Okay, so these three annotations we will use for dynamic configurations. Dynamic configurations. Dynamic configurations. Okay, so generally, so I need to pass the variables dynamically. For that purpose, I should take the methods. So the methods are, I would say, mm, public. So first one is the username, right? The same method name also I'm taking the same username, and this is method, and it is the property of user details configuration. This is the property, right? This is the property, and so similarly I can take with mm, remaining methods also I will take, like user ID, user secret, REST API also same thing I will take. I will I will take. And here we can annotate the property with attribute definition. Attribute definition. So what is the purpose of attribute definition is, so we can pass, so it can, attribute definition can make our variable, our property as the dynamically, our property as the dynamically. Okay, so here I am giving some attributes which are like name equal to username. So here I am giving some name equal to username, which is like mm, username. I am giving username. Next, I will give some description. Description I am giving. So about user description, about user description. Okay, and next, after that I can take default value. So default value I will pass as the some Raju. Okay, after that, next type, we can take the type. So not only these attributes, for example, if you click on and control space bar, these many attributes are available. These many attributes are available coordinately and max, min, options, uh, required, and type. Now I am using the type. Type meaning, so already this is already we defined with the string, right? So explicitly also we are defining with same data type. So type equal to attribute type dot string. We are again mentioning with string. So explicitly we are again defined with same data type. Again we are defining with same data type. Okay, next required equal to true. Required equal to true. So these are the recommended attributes. So name is the recommended attribute and remaining description. These are all the recommended attributes. Not mandatory but highly recommended. Not mandatory but highly recommended. Okay, so I will divide like this. Type. So this is clear. Okay, similarly, this is with respect to username, right? So similarly, I can copy this one and then I can give the space here and then here I will change to user ID. User ID and this is the data type is the int. The data type is the int. Okay, here I will change to user ID and here also I will change to description is about user ID description and here I will mention some default value some one this number I will mention and here the type is I will mention with dot integer. Okay, integer data type. Okay, so this is with respect to user ID. So similarly I can go with user secret. I will take the user secret and here also user secret description I'm mentioning and here some number I am passing here. Okay, and then true here I will mention with user secret user secret. Okay, attribute type also the same string and string only. Okay, next user API. Here you can take with user API and here about user API description and here some default value I am providing some www dot some search.com string. Okay, here I can mention with user API user API. So these are the methods and then it will be treated as the variable and I am passing the values. So attribute definition is the annotation. We can make variable as the dynamically. We can make the variable as the dynamically. Okay. So this is the class. This class I can define with object class definition. I can define with object class definition. So object class Object class definition is the annotation which will make normal. This is the normal Java class, right? Normal Java class, you can make it as the dynamically. So object class is the annotation which is used to make our normal Java class as the dynamically. Okay. Now here also I will take two attributes. Name attribute is the not mandatory but highly recommended. Okay. Here I will take the class name that is the user details configuration. Okay, simply I'm copying that one. I will paste here and then here I will write some description which is all about user details user details. So about I mention about user details configuration. This is some simple description I'm mentioning. So as of now is clear. So simply I have taken four properties, and I am passing the dynamic values by using the object class definition, and the entire class I am make it as the dynamically configuration by using the object class definition, by using the object class definition. Okay, now I can save this one, and this is the normal Java class, right? User details is the normal Java class. I need to map. I need to map, meaning what here I am passing the values dynamically. Okay, so the way those values we can map with this class. How can I map? We can map by using the @designate annotation. So @designate is the annotation. With the help of @designate, we can map dynamic configuration class and normal class. So okay, we are established the relation between dynamic configuration and normal Java class. @designate, and here I will mention OCD equal to class name. The class name is this one, right? The class name is user details configurations dot class. Okay, @designate is the annotation. We are mapping the two classes. We are mapping two classes with the help of @designate only. Okay, we are establishing the connection between two classes. One is the user details class. Second one is the user detail configurations class. We are establishing the relation between two classes by using the @designate. @designate. Okay. Okay, fine. OCD is object class definition. So this object class definition we are passing here. We are making the relation. Okay. So in the last session, what we learned generally, OSGi is the container, and when we deploy the our bundle into the OSGi, so when the bundle will be in the active, our OSGi components will be active, and then based on the XML configuration, OSGi what it will do, it will register and it will create the objects. So similarly here also, OSGi will create the object for this class. The class name is the user details configuration dot. Okay, so now with this object we are passing the latest values to the methods, all methods. Are you guys clear with my point? Here we will pass the values. Those values will pass the latest values to all the methods, all the methods. So this is the class name, and OSGi framework will create the object for that one. So the object I am passing here, the object I am passing here, right? So I'm so through that through the object, through this object I am passing the latest value to the all the methods, latest values to all the methods. So here I will take user details configurations, user details configurations. So this is the object name, and this object data type is the class name. This object data type is the class name. Are you guys clear with my point? So with this object I am passing latest value to all the methods, latest value to all the methods. Okay, simply object and class name I am copying, and I am giving as a parameter for all the methods. Parameter for all the methods. This is the parameter I am giving, and this is the parameter I am giving. Okay, and one more normal method also I will take. The method, normal method I will take, that is public void update method. I would like to take some update method. Okay, the method name you can take anything. For this purpose also, for this method also, I will pass the dynamical values by using the object, by using the objects. So in the core Java itself, we discuss Java, we can deal the real time, the methods deals with the object only, right? So we are dealing the data by using the objects only. So the latest values we are passing to this object, and through that we are getting the values. Through that we are getting the values. Okay. This is the update method, is the normal method. And now what I will do, whatever the values I am passing in this class, those values I can assign with this instance variables. That is the thing. So how could I do that one? You can use the object name dot. You can copy the object name, and so the object contain multiple methods. Object dot user name. username, I am calling that one. Okay, and then so this one, like whatever the value I am passing there, that value will be come here, and this value I will be stored current class instance variables. Current class instance variables. How could I initialize the current class instance variables? By using this keyword. By using this keyword. This is the keyword which is used to initialize the current class instance variables. Current class instance variables. Username. So instead of doing hard coding, we are taking the values from the dynamically, and that values we are assigning to the private instance variables. We are assigning to the instance variables. Okay. Okay, fine. Now similarly, you can do remaining things also, meaning user details configuration dot. Next we have the user ID, and then this user ID you can store in this dot user ID. So what we are doing here, generally I will comment here, we are doing instance variables initialization. Instance variables initialization. Okay. So two done. Next we'll go with the third one. Third one is user secret. We'll take user secret, and this secret we can store with this dot user secret. Similarly, you can take with user API, and then we can initialize with this dot user API. Okay. So simply I am initializing the instance variables. Okay. This is the custom method, right? If you want to execute the custom method, this custom method you should call inside the activate method. So then only all the variables you can get access. All the variables you can get access. Okay. Now username. Okay. Mm. So inside the activate method, we can pass the uh, normal method, that is the update configurations. Update configurations. Okay. Are you guys clear with my points? I will increase this one. Okay. Okay, fine. So I want to print whatever the values I am passing from the dynamically. I want to print those values. So if I want to print the dynamical values, how could I print? So for that purpose, you can take the log info log info. Here you can take with username. Okay, username, and you can take, after that you can take with user ID. Okay, and this is the placeholder actually. So two ways you can print, already that also we seen in the last session. Third one is the user secret. Okay, and similarly we can take with user API. This is the placeholder. Okay. Okay, fine. So after that, username, and next thing we have the user API. Okay, after that we have the user API. We can take with the user ID, and then after that we can take with the user secret, and after that you can take with user API. User API. Okay. So here also I will take one more log file. One more log file I will take here. So log dot info, and here I will take the message is, so data coming from, this is some dummy message I'm passing, data coming from user details class, user details class. Okay, user details class. So the same message I can pass in case of deactivate and modified. So when you deactivate this user details component, at the time this will be triggered. Okay, at the time you, if you modify anything, then at the time this modified method will be triggered. Okay, initially activate method at the time of first deployment, activate method will be triggered. Okay, when you delete, at the time it will be activate, it will be work. When you modify, then this method will be work, this method will be work. Okay, so I will mention with some that is modified. This is the some dummy message. Okay, I can save this fine. And okay, fine. So what will happen generally, I author the values dynamically in this class. Those values I am taking as a parameter with this method. So I am initializing the instance variables. So finally my variables will be initialized by using the dynamic values. So instead of doing hard coding, this is the recommended approach. This is the recommended approach. Okay. So again, what I am doing, whatever the values I am passing, those values I am printing here by using the log info, and by using the placeholder, I am printing those values. I am printing those values. Okay. Okay, fine. Now, if you want, we can create the separate logger file this class also, user details. So I will go and I will create one logger class, and then we'll see generally localhost 4502. Already you know how to create the loggers. You can go with operations, web console. Next, you can go with log support, sling, and log support. Now you can create, add new logger, and simply can copy this one. And here I will mention user user log. Okay, user dot log. Okay, so simply I can mention the path demo core services dot, and so we're not that deployed, right? We're not at deployed, so we'll take the class name, user details, we'll take save. Okay, you can check it, user details, it got stored. Okay. Okay, fine. Now I will do the deployment, and then we'll see like whatever we are expecting the values will come or not. I will do the deployment and then we'll check. So you can go to the your project, and then you can use the command prompt cmd, and then you can give the command. We'll do the deployment, and then whatever the values you authored dynamically, the values should be displayed on the error.log. So this is actually our scenario, and we'll see like whatever you are expecting, it will work fine or not. Okay. Simple thing, guys. So generally we will do in the real-time scenario like this only. So we will take the data from the using some APIs, and then through that we can update the values. Through that we can update the values. For example, you know the hotels, right? So the hotels will collaborate with other hotels. So they will update the rates. Okay, daily they will update the rates, right? So how they are daily they are updating the values. So they will use the configuration, dynamical configuration. Okay, instead of doing the hard coding, so they will give the dynamic values. So all the website will be, uh, I would say, easily the values will be changed in the all over the website also. Window deployment permission. Okay, deployment build success. Now you can open your web console and then go to your OSGi configurations. OSGi configurations. Okay, open that configurations and you can look your class name. Whatever the configuration name you have given there, you can take that name. So user details configuration. This is the name, right? You can copy that name. You can copy that name and so here we can look with that name. You can look with that name. So for example, Control F and then I can give with user detail configurations. User detail configurations. If I click on it, I can get total 4 variables actually. Username, user ID, user secret, user API. How these 4 are coming? So in our code, we took 4, right? And this is the default value. We took the default value as the attribute. That is the reason it is showing default value. And this is the description. We took the description, so that is the reason it is showing the description. And this is the name. This is the name. And a type and are required. Those are the normal property. Type meaning we are explicitly again we are mentioning this is belong to string. And this is belong to integer. We are explicitly we are one more time we are mentioning. Required true meaning we have to mandatorily we have to author. Okay, for example, here I would like to mention some name, that is some Raju search will mention like that, and that these are the default values. Here I will change other values, and then here also I will take some triple some search.com, and this diamond symbol will be there. This is the description. So I am passing the values. These are the values I am passing. Okay, instead of doing the values I am passing the values dynamically. So in the from configuration option I am passing the values. Okay, these values I am initializing with instance variables. You can author the values and click on save. So those will values will go, those values will assign to the instance variables. So that is the scenario. Okay, okay, fine. So it got saved and then you can go to your AEM. You can open error.log files, quick start, go to logs and user dot aes user dot log. You can open that one and then can open that one user dot log user dot log. You can open user dot log. So whatever the values you authored, those values will be displayed on the log file. So that is the actual our requirement. That is actual our requirement, right? So you can check the bundle deployed or not. You can go to your bundles and you can check the bundle timestamp. Bundle timestamp is demo code and then 22 and then 514 only. So the bundle got installed. Okay. We are passing the values, and this is the dynamic configuration, and then we are mapping from that class to here by using the OCD user details configuration dot class, and then user details, and we are using the logger. We are using the logger, and then int ID, user secret, user API, activate, modified, update. Here you should use the log info, and then the same thing. Again, you can go to that version configurations. You can try to author the file. You can copy the path one more time. Dot or dot. Next services. User details. You can select that one. Save. Okay, now we can go to OSGi configurations. Give the class name. The class name is configurations. User details configurations. Okay. Um, Click on that. Here you can give the names. Also can give some other names. You can save. Can reload. Now you should go to your AEM author instance, open PicShot, open logs, user details, open user details. We created other log, right? We created other log, right? The other log name is sling and then log support. Other log name is user details. So the log not created it. Okay, if it is not, you can cross check in the by default error.logs. Okay, so whatever the values we author there, some Rani is there, right? We author some Rani, and you can look for the dynamic values. Rani, Then you can look for other numbers is given, right? That is some double two, like that. The values, the dynamic values should be displayed on the error.log. Create one more other log. Details. User details. Dot log. Sticking this. Should copy this path. Core dot services dot user details. Okay, and then save. It will be saved. You can go to the OSGi configurations. Give user configurations. User details configurations. Click on that. Here you can give the values. Here, for example, I am giving some other name, and here I am giving random some random numbers I am giving. Click on save. Go to the page. Check log got created or not. Log is not creating. So now you can create a log. User details. Okay, and then copy the path. Core dot services user details. Now you can save that now. Reload. Log created or not? Not created. Log created actually. Your user details dot log. Okay, log created. Okay, now I will go with the OSGi configurations. Now the thing is, you can look for user details configurations. User details configurations. Click on that. Already you authored the values. Click on save. Click on save. It will save. Now you can go with your AEM and then quick start author, quick start logs. Go with the user details. Click on that. The values will be triggered here. Values will be triggered. So one more time we'll deploy and then we'll see. You can deploy the values. Maven clean install minus auto install. We'll deploy one more time and then we'll see. Yes, 1 minute. Now you can go to the error log of the start log user details. Click on that. The value should come actually. So we'll try it with another one. So similarly, like however we write the user details. So similarly, I have written employee details. So in the previous sessions actually. So they are also simple. Like we can take the employee details dynamically. So I will explain the code. So these are the employee properties: employee name, ID, secret, API. So similarly, whatever the values we took for the username, same values. And this is the employee configuration. The employee configuration I took for employee name, ID, and then employee secret and rest API. Okay. Okay. So attribute definition is the annotation which can make the property as the dynamically. And object class definition is the annotation. We can make the class as the dynamically. Okay, here in the dynamical configuration level, you can give the annotation that is the object class definition. And second attribute we will, annotation we will use attribute definition. Okay, this is clear. And I will go with the employee, I would say IMPL. Here, simply you can take the component and we will convert it to the employee service and enable equal to true and immediate equal to true. After that, class name, you should pass the class name in the dot logger. And then the next thing is we can map two classes by using other designate OSGi equal to employee configuration dot class. Okay, remaining activate method and that method we are passing here, meaning like here we are passing only, I would say only object we are passing, but in our case we are passing object and class name also we are passed, right? That we will cross check in method. We pass here update only user detail configurations. Object only we passed here also. And next what we did here. Next okay, deactivate, modified, the same thing, remaining things are same. Like we are taking the values from there and we are initializing. We are initializing. Okay, we are initializing. So this is the values, right? Okay, so now what I will do, I will go with employee configuration and there I can pass the values. There I can pass the values. So this is also same, similar, whatever the user configurations you took. So similarly, this is also same, right? So now what I will do, I will go to the configurations, and here I will take OSGi configurations, and then I can look for the employee configurations. I can look for the employee configurations. I am giving Control F, and then I am giving for the employee configurations. Employee configurations. Okay, I am giving that, and then here I am giving some values I am passing here. These are the values I pass. Okay, I'm click on save, and these values should be displayed by default error.log. Okay, I can go with that error.log in my AEM. You can go with the quick start author, and then next thing is quick start. Go to dogs, logs, and then error.log. Is there any with employee? Any log files with employee? There is no employee with log files, right? Now you can look with here the name, which is Krishna, and then you can look for that name. Not this one exactly. We can look, is there any log with that name, which is employee service. There is no logs. Okay, so whatever the values we author there, the values should be displayed. Employee configurations. Employee ID is some zero some zero. I mentioned over there. Employee name. You can look for employee name. You can see here. Employee name is coming null. Employee ID is coming null, and employee secret is coming null. Similarly, REST API also coming null. Student also coming null. So in our case, username, we try to look for the username. Username also coming here. Okay, username also coming here. But values, these are the default values. If you not assign any values, it will take as the default values. This is the default values, right? Null, zero, null are the default values. But our requirement is, wow, we don't need default values. So now what I will do, I will delete the error log, and then I can go with the log support. I remove this one. Remove. Okay, there is no files. Now I can pass the values dynamically. OSGi configurations, and name is user defined user details. User details configuration. Okay, you can click on it. Give the name Rani and 7032 like that, and then click on save. So we don't want default values. Instead of default values, we can pass the values. You can go to the logs, open error.logs. Now you can look for the username. Now you see Rani is coming, user ID is coming, user secret is coming, user API www.surge.com. So this is the way we can pass the values from dynamically. This is the way we can pass the values dynamically. Okay. So I I get the values in the error.log. So error.log is the default one. You not created any logger, all the values should be displayed on the error.log. So this is the thing, we have to do the same thing, and then the values should display here itself. For example, if you author any other values, whatever the values you authored, for example, I'm going here, and again configurations, and you can pass any other values. all the other values also should display on the error.log. That is actual our requirement. Click on that. Now here I will mention some other name. The other name is some example. For example, I will mention some Devara, and here also I will mention some other name, all 777 and some 999. Okay, remaining things are same. I save this one. Click on the save. Now you can go to your error.log files. Open that one. Now you can look for username latest one. This is Rani already completed. Now again we pass the new values, right? So for new values, we can deploy the bundle one more time. We can get the new values. Okay, so that is the thing. Whatever the values we can pass by using the dynamic color. This is the options. These are the options. Are you guys clear with my point? So that today what you guys will do, we can do the same process. Whatever we discussed till now so far. So I have to take the one configuration class and then we can make it the configuration class as the dynamically by using the object class definition. And these properties also can make the, I would say, dynamically by using the attribute definition. And then we can make the relation between two classes by using the designate. And this skeleton is basic skeleton already you know. Normal Java class can convert into the component and then later you can convert into the service. Okay, later you can convert into the service. This is the thing. You have to do the same process. Those values, the latest values will be reflect on the log files. So that's it today. So I'm stopping the record.